Good morning, everyone. Kansas Sports HQ here. Dave Bush, your host, producer. Sean Cutler, Sheldon Howell. Today is a solid Monday for every team that I follow for football. Friday, we had Derby take over Northwest in blowout fashion. Unfortunately, Mays got beat by Manhattan, and Capon rolled over, I believe, Wellington. Capon has like 126 points scored and 0 allowed in the last 2 games. Just unbelievable stuff. But before we start diving into some of that stuff, how was the weekend for you guys, and how's today going?
It's good. It's Malik Monday.
It's true. He got in.
Malik gets in the game. We get a win. What do you want?
Just
You know what I mean?
Take advantage of his skill set. It's kind of.
I'm telling you, that first play was electric.
It's unreal.
It was awesome.
I mean, the Derby won, Ohio State won, 49ers won.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Good weekend.
Good weekend. Yeah.
Did our fantasy team win?
Yeah, I mean, we were up huge.
Oh, okay.
I doubt any of my fantasy
really
teams
looked at
win. Because football doesn't breed wins for me. That's just not what it is. Hawkeyes blew a 14-point lead on the road against USC, so they've now lost to, I think, 12 or 13 straight ranked teams now without a win. So 4 years running.
Oh, wow.
Brutal, because they lost by a combined 15 points in those 4 losses this year. The refs were awful and just awful. Just terrible. Terrible refs. Awful refs. Retarded, actually. But then Chiefs lost too,
which helps my picks.
I don't think the Chiefs might not make the playoffs.
I don't know, man.
It's a very uphill.
Their odds went, one of our group chats, the odds were at minus, I think it was almost minus 600 that they made the playoffs before last night's game, and then now it's at minus 185. Which is not
I mean, they went from they're in the 9 spot now, so they're chasing like the Texans.
Well, yeah, and the Jaguars beating the crap out of the Chargers and Jaguars already had the head-to-head over the Chiefs.
I mean, let's be honest. As soon as they get to the point where it's like, okay, hey, we got to win every game, they're just gonna win every game.
And the refs will know. They did. The refs did try to help them win. There was so many penalties on both sides in that game. It was crazy. But yeah, Mahomes was still getting some home cooking in Denver yesterday, making some really bad decisions throwing the football, and they would help. Poor my guy Riley Moss on the Broncos.
He got abused yesterday.
Yeah,
one of those PIs that he had though. I just can't stand that call in football right now. It's just quarterbacks get bailed out too much because they just underthrow the receiver.
Yeah, and then they got to fight back. What's the corner supposed to do? Let him catch it?
Right. Not to mention he's running with a wide receiver.
Plus, he's got to turn his head.
Instinctually, they're not trying to let him get on top of him.
Right.
So they're running with him. So immediately as he slows down, he's going to slow down. That's defense.
I saw that in the Iowa game too. Multiple times that quarterback is really good. USC's quarterback's really, really good.
Yeah.
And they have great wide receivers, 5-star talents. They're going to be NFL guys. And our couple of our 3-star white boys are running around with them. And it's like
exciting whites.
Yeah. Well, there'll be more.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, first of all, they miss a holding penalty. USC quarterback Mayava gets to roll out. Hands to the face or holding. One of them should have been called. And he throws it, just launches it to the end zone because he's under pressure. He just launches it to the guy and they get tangled up, fall down. Defensive PI.
Yeah.
Which it was defensive PI,
Sure.
but you missed the call for him to roll out of the pocket. And then a couple drives later, great blitz, but he gets tripped up, gets around his ankles, and then the quarterback doesn't go down. Good job by the quarterback. But then just a desperation throw, one-on-one, downfield, underthrows it. Both of them are fighting. There's contact both ways, and then they call defense PI.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
But it's unfortunate.
There's got to be something where it's
what's the defender supposed to do?
Yeah, if you're having to come back for a ball, it should just be
a live ball.
It's like a jump ball. Yeah, it's like a tip drill.
Because then it's just they're going to use and abuse that. And,
They already are.
Yeah,
everybody.
They have been for the past 5 years.
Yeah, it's just. And then I saw yesterday something. I don't know what announcer said that. there was a catch. It was a game. We challenged it, so the Packers had to challenge it because they called it a reception, but the ball's clearly on the ground. So then you got the announcers on there. Well, technically, as long as the catch survives this, and I'm like, geez, Louise, dude,
Nobody knows.
Like, how do
Nobody
we understand
knows.
what a catch is?
Nobody knows
can
what
the
a
ball
catch
hit the
is.
ground or can the ball not hit the ground?
Right.
Well, it technically can hit the ground as long as the hands are more secure on the ball than the ball hitting the ground. I'm like, no, dude, the ball hit the ground, the ball's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
And the same thing with like toe tap catches and everything.
Yeah.
Like, back-to-back games, Iowa's been so close to either, winning because of this or at least tying it or something like that.
Sure.
Right. Back-to-back games and like the foot comes down and then the toe steps slightly, just slightly out of bounds.
Yeah.
One was a 2-point, one was to get him into like the red zone. But like the heel comes down inbounds and the toe's like, barely out of bounds and not a catch.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what if USC did that? They're calling that a catch on the field.
Yeah.
And then you go to replay and they're like, confirmed, not
Well, I
substantial
think-
video evidence to overturn. Same
and we
thing
got
with, like,
super
Oregon.
confused with that because I think it was Justin Jefferson one time. I forget if it was him or not, but they called him as 2 points in off the same leg.
Oh,
that what that-
yeah.
remember
yeah. He
that?
like hit it twice.
He
the
like
same
hit his
leg.
foot and then his shin came down
Nobody
or something
knows.
like that, or his heel. And I don't remember what they called on that, but they were like, "Oh yeah, that's 2 points of." And I'm like, "It's the same body part."
Yeah,
like what?
that doesn't.
we don't know what a catch is. Okay.
No,
I mean,
don't know
it's
what a
still
catch
it's
is.
still not being defined properly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the Eagles and Lions game where they were setting up for a tush push, and the right guard was literally trying to put his hand down when one of the Lions guys was literally equal to the ball with his hands. So this
Attaboy.
guy's literally trying to put his hand
He
down,
was like touching his hand.
and they told him it was they called it a false start. When this dude's literally lined up in the neutral zone, his hand was over
They called
past
it
the ball.
False start on the Eagles.
Yeah,
Well, good.
Yeah,
but
Because they false start every single time, and they don't
but
call
even
it.
even the analysts on the show were just like, "That's not right. He's just trying to put his hand down."
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So there's lots of entertainment aspects to some of these
Vegas.
calls per se.
Vegas.
You know,
That is a fact.
Then-
Josh Allen went crazy.
yeah,
The other news of the weekend: Judge MVP.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that mean, Dave? Let me hear it.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why it's wrong.
I know you're a Yankees fan and you like Judge, but for me, my vote would have been to Cal Raleigh just because of how impactful his season was.
You're Sean.
Not saying Aaron Judge didn't have an impactful season, because without him, where are you guys? That situation.
40 wins.
Right. But I would pick Cal Raleigh just because, not because I don't like the Yankees or Aaron Judge. It's just I would have picked him because what he did was pretty magical.
Sure. And once again, I'll say the same thing. I'm not taking anything away from Cal Raleigh, but you cannot So what I don't like, the argument a lot of people are making, because I think, in my opinion, they think it makes them sound smart, baseball smart, when they say this, and in reality, it's just like, dude, you're trying to make all the other arguments instead of what's there in front of you. So with Cal Raleigh, their argument is, well, it's way harder to be a catcher. You got to go to more meetings. You got to catch a pitching staff. You got to groom a pitching staff. And it's, it's way harder on the body. And he still hit 60 home runs. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's true. It doesn't mean it's not true that they're making this argument, but they're like, that's way harder than being a right fielder. So, Raleigh hit 60 home runs. He batted 247, dude. I like, you can say as much as you want to that batting average doesn't matter, but Judge batted 331 and still hit over 50 home runs, and also battled through an injury midseason to finish the season strong and still win a batting title. And if we're going to make hypothetical arguments that don't have a tangible number attached to them, like little baseball behind the scenes argument to sound smart, well, Judge is the captain of the New York Yankees. Cal Raleigh plays for Seattle. Nobody watches Seattle except for Seattle fans, man. That's just how it is. And it's not really fair to them because they're West Coast, so a lot of Midwest and Eastern Coast teams don't watch him. There's just not a lot of pressure there.
Sure.
Okay. They have a postseason drought. There's not a lot of expectation there. So if we're going to make these arguments that don't have tangible numbers attached to them, then Judge being captain of the New York Yankees, you don't think he's not involved in a bunch of off game meetings every day? And you don't think he's sitting with the front office every day trying to talk him through the season, being the captain of the Yankees and having all the power and expectations that he does? And yet he still goes out every single year and produces.
Sure.
This is the voter fatigue too. Everybody's like, they're just tired of Judge winning the MVP. On the flip side, they're not tired of Shohei winning the MVP. Nobody's making the argument for Schwarber, who had a very similar season to Raleigh, other than he didn't catch, but very similar season to Raleigh. They're not like Schwarber should win the MVP because he was so impactful for the field. No, it's just this whole Altuve versus Judge thing again. Altuve back in 2017. And then they're making the argument that Altuve had the higher batting average, so he should have won back then. And now it's flipped. They're like, oh, well, he hit 60 bombs. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
You just hate the Yankees. You hate Aaron Judge. That's what it is, dude. So if we're going to make arguments that don't have a tangible number, because you can't argue the numbers because Judge beats them all over the place other than homers and RBI, and they're like, well, Riley's an elite defender. Well, guess what? His defensive metrics and his offensive metrics still weren't enough to have more WAR than Judge. Judge still had more WAR. And Judge isn't a bad defender. He's average to above average in all defensive metrics.
Sure.
And dude nobody wants to run on him because he has such a cannon. You don't talk about how much runs that saves when nobody just wants to run it because he's so accurate with his arm.
It's not trackable.
Yeah. So, that's my argument. That's my rant, because I just think people want to sound smart, and it's the same thing with every sport when a guy's winning endless MVPs. They got to find, well, if Cal Raleigh doesn't win MVP, you might as well just always give it to Judge and make an Offensive Player of the Year award. Well, when Judge is that good at offense, sorry, you do. Like you just do. I mean, his OPS, and no, people don't like using this number, but his OPS was like 190 points higher than Raleigh's.
Sure.
If you take 190 points off of Raleigh, he's an average baseball player. You take 190 points off of Judge, he matches Raleigh's season offensively. So like, you just,
I think that's why he won.
That's probably why he won.
I mean, Sean talking more now than
you also just won MVP of your podcast career, right
man,
there.
Wow,
that's the most words that you've said consecutively
ever. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show.
Beautiful thing.
But
good job. You've been holding on to that for a month.
Oh man, yeah. But we're gonna continue that baseball talk a little bit. And as you know, Summer Collegiate Baseball is headed into its off season and winter meetings, planning out the seasons and all of that good stuff. As the tournament director of the SummerBall Showdown, it was cool to receive some fun messages this weekend about, hey man, we're planning on coming out. We want to see some of the cool stuff that you guys do, and right now was a great time to talk about it and let everybody know that the SummerBall Showdown is alive and well and cruising into year number 6. So I guess if you guys want to ask some cool questions and let me go after it with all the things that we have going on, that's great. But the SummerBall Showdown is going to be ending August 2nd in 2026, starting on July 29th. It's a 5-day tournament. It's the most affordable national tournament that you will find anywhere, and every player that has played in it seems to have loved their experience. It's highly talked about. When we hop on here and discuss things with players, they talk about food, they talk about the competition, they talk about the experience, and it just makes sense to do 5 days, lots of baseball, lots of community. The community rallies around our event, and we have numbers that prove that. The past couple of years, we've had 20,000 people through our gate in the 5 days, and it's just it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be a part of and be able to put on such a great opportunity to help guys grow in the game.
Yeah,
Sounds
man,
good.
It's awesome. It is. Fun.
So what do you think? It's in Goddard, of course, at Genesis. How do you think that has elevated the community feel as opposed to it being in Wichita? I mean, no offense to Wichita, obviously, but like having it in a place like Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think the challenges with that community are still coming in to head per se. Goddard isn't such a large town, but when you're in their community and you're about the community and you show up for the community, they start putting the pieces together to really support it. And we have meetings with the city this week, I believe, and we're going to talk about some cool stuff to do as a partnership blooms and grows year after year after year, because the city wants us there. It's being able to reach out and touch the community for all the great things that we do. Not having it in Wichita, I don't know that it matters. I mean, Goddard's literally 5 to
Yeah.
6 miles away. And, if we do our job by advertising the teams, helping people understand where teams come from. I mean, a fun example would be 2 years ago, I had a guy come up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I really liked your interview with this team. So now I'm going to be a fan for them, even though I have no idea about their stats or whatever. I just really like the coach's vibe." And that team was Palm Springs, because Sam brings the energy everywhere that he goes. But having people just show up and really latch on and actually walk up and say, "Hey guys, you guys are doing great." It's it really doesn't bother me that it's in Goddard. I think it's great because we have a complex that suits our need, and we can grow year after year with them.
Yeah, Goddard's been fun. I mean, there's like you said, I think the challenges are going to be no matter where you go. Like it's just going to be different in each spot, and they're going to be different types of challenges based off that you get there, right? Park City's deal, if they ever one get it done. Two, who knows what that looks like once it's finished, and then three, once you get there, based off of the information that we've gotten from the beginning, like it's still not going to be able to provide the experience that we're trying to provide. Certain aspects, maybe, but it's going to be some give and take. Like there's going to be different pieces that we would have to adjust, and again, just different challenges there. Uh, you know, I I don't know, like, to answer, what city or what place or where. I mean, I think the SummerBall Showdown could move at any given time? Sure. Do I think that it could possibly find, homes in different areas? Is there growth potential? Is there all kinds of things? Yeah. But Goddard's setup and the community aspect there has been a perfect fit for the growth that I think is going on. Now I think, like in all things, it's about nurturing those relationships, and I think it's about growing with them and trying to fit how that, level kind of starts to move in a direction. And there's always gonna be competition, there's always gonna be different places, there's always gonna be, moving parts. I truly believe in that. I think that's part of our society, but I also think that's good for it too. Um, but I think, in Goddard, there's a ton of room for more. It's just, can you garnish the support to kinda, make it happen? And
Well, and I
I wanna
think
believe it.
with that, just my perspective on that would be having it in a place like Goddard, location wise, like you said, is really really nice. Not very far from Wichita, very close to the airport for all the teams that end up flying in, obviously. And it's out of like Wichita it's very compact,
Yeah.
super tight
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff. So when you talk about places to stay, obviously the hotel being right next is really nice too.
Yeah.
But you look at our teams alone, we're all in the KCLB, they're all in smaller communities. And so having it in kind of a smaller community kind of connects Goddard into the league a little bit, which
Yeah.
is cool. And then obviously with the teams that travel, I mean it's out away a little bit, so you're not so like I guess not gridlocked, obviously, but like
Yeah.
kind of
I
tight
get
into
what you're
this
saying.
city
Yeah.
where
Right.
there's just so much going on in Wichita all the time. It kind of could kind of go by the wayside, but since it's like it's in Goddard, like it's happening, it's the big thing happening for these few days.
Yeah.
I think locally, obviously, that's a big drive, and then like you said, not very far from. I mean, 5 miles away from Wichita tops.
Yeah, I mean, it
Up
also
the
helps
road.
that we have the facility here. I mean, we
Yeah.
we offer that to the teams to get some BP in, or somebody might need a bullpen, and there's a couple hotels right next to the facility, and that just makes it that much sweeter, because they can stay there. There's food close and stuff like that. So
Johnson.
being able to kind of mesh all of that together is awesome too. And then with the growth of Genesis Sports Complex having Sandbox, and of course the hotel, the real gym that they have there, not just a hotel gym and stuff like that is pretty supporting for those that want to stay on site and minimize that extra travel. I mean, it just makes sense to have it there for now, and we hope that that community backs us some more. And I mean, they've been showing up. It's been pretty crazy the last few years with how many people have been coming out and just being a part of our event for the community.
Yeah, there's just been I mean, one on your guys' topics on that, convenience is king, right? So the more convenient we can be for our teams, which I also think that that's part of what separates SummerBall Showdown from a lot of other things out there is like the SBS is about the teams and about the players. Like it's woven into like how we operate, right? What?
Woven,
Woven?
woven,
Woven. Sorry. Woven
That's
into.
great though. That's great.
Woven. Okay.
Move it.
yeah, woven.
It's just
Woven and
how
grooving.
yeah, we're woven and woven at the same time. But you know what I mean? Like it's about them. And that was, like on the last podcast when we kind of went into the history of SBS and where it started and that type of stuff, like that was where that was the founding idea behind this whole thing was we're going to do what's right for the players no matter what. We're going to do what's right for the teams no matter what. We're not going to put the SBS interest in front of the team's interests because they are the backbone of what the SBS can be, right? And it boils down to all of our bigger topics we talk about with that servant leadership mentality. And that was where it all spawned from, right? Same thing with the KCLB, right? It's just it's how that all kind of pieces together. And so when you start thinking about location, convenience, and piecing all of those things together for the teams, when people actually take the time to like sit down and look at it, which is the hardest part of the whole thing, they're kind of like, this kind of sounds too good to be true. Like, are you sure?
Our
And it's
cost
like,
breakdowns
well,
are
yeah, it's just
unbelievable.
like, wait a minute, like you gotta, so we don't have to do this or have to do that. It's like, no, dude, like we just want you to come and enjoy baseball. Like we want you to come and be a baseball team and come compete for some shit. Like, come
Right.
play, come
Oh.
strap it up and play.
And by the way, when you're not playing, there's 4 other games
Yeah,
going on.
exactly.
And
Like-
and there's other community things going on.
Right.
I
Oh,
mean,
It's just
we've jumped into this community event with Wichita Parisi being, the what we could say the largest recreational wiffle ball tournament
with the greatest umpire of
with
all time.
I mean,
Here it
it
has.
just being able to see those kids come out and watch some baseball and then go play wiffle ball. I mean, again,
There's kids running all around.
I said it the last podcast we discussed SBS, and having 1,200 kids out there just playing a game, on 3 different fields to have fun and come together as a community. It's just really it's been cool to watch. I mean, it takes forever.
And if you people were wondering out there, if parents still argue balls and strikes in wiffle ball,
They
do.
Oh,
they argue about everything.
They do.
They do.
And then they start arguing when the beer stops being sold. We have laws that we have to follow, and
It was
so on
cool
and so
though.
forth.
It was like 2 a.m. There were still kids out there in the
Yeah.
outfield.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you have homes to go?
What?
They were still out there.
It's definitely
playing
become
wiffle
more
ball.
of like a family. Like, the first couple of years it was drop the kids and let them play. And these last couple of years it's turned into like, okay, we're bringing the whole crew and we're setting up our little campsite.
Yeah.
Like, like we know how long this shit takes. Like we're just getting a spot, keep the beers coming. Like we ain't gonna move. And then my mom's down there just blasting music, hanging out while we got a bunch of games going. But yeah, I mean, it's
Parents
fun.
hanging out.
Yeah. Well, the thing, and it goes back to Goddard too. Like I hope that we can continue to kind of have the growth in Goddard because obviously Goddard's got some big schools. Eisenhower's a big, it's a big district in general, but Eisenhower's getting bigger. They're building more houses out there. All the different stuff, which you could get into a whole thing on that, I'm sure, with the Goddard community. But I do think that it is kind of it's a big point to understand like where we started there with the tournament, with a facility that was just built, a lot of unknowns, in a COVID year was the first year we were like really trying to do everything. So just growing with all of the things that have happened out there, I think we are on the not the back end, but like we're through at least kind of probably a lower point with the facility in the city. And then you start to tack on. I mean, just imagine, like, I can't even count how many city changes that place has had since we've started doing stuff there. I
Absolutely.
mean, mayors have changed, city council has changed. We were invited to a meeting that ended up being a coup, and
It was like a war zone.
it was a public. Did you not hear about that?
Oh man. Well,
That was wild.
I don't know, maybe.
Just
We were-
leave it
we
at
were-
it was wild.
Well, we were invited to come out and speak at the city council thing, which I go and do those, like go
Yeah.
talk, whatever. And we show up and Dave's sitting there and we're hanging out, and just kind of, chit chatting, reviewing what we're going to do. And then it was like the very first piece of this meeting, like
Boom.
it was just like a bomb goes off, dude. And the mayor at the time, he stands up and essentially like recuses himself and steps down from his position. And he's like, I will no longer be serving the city, blah, 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 blah. This guy is going to be doing it now. And so, like, and this is all, I don't think this is like, not everybody knows what's happening. Like, you
No.
know what I mean? So then this other guy, like, steps up and, like, he's going to be the guy that's doing
Vice
it.
mayor or whatever.
But then these people are arguing about it because this is going on. I remember this, like, I turned to Dave, I was like, what the fuck did you get me into? Like, what are we doing here?
It's
Like,
always me getting him into something,
like,
like everything I do in the community.
I'm like, dude, what kind of meeting is this? Like, I'm supposed to get up here after all this crazy shit goes down. I'm supposed to go up there to this podium and be like, oh, hey.
And I'm like, the team needs you. The team needs you.
This is our
The team needs you.
awesome community event. Like, we're so excited about
Yeah.
Goddard,
So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, like it was just an absolute cluster at that point. So, to the point, we've just seen a lot of different moving parts out there and a lot of different people, a lot of different things. I mean, they had after that whole debacle happened, then there was another guy that was there, stepped down. They had all these Facebook groups like calling for this guy's head, like going back and forth. It's been
so many things that there were a lot of hurdles to create a relationship in that city.
It's been crazy.
And the last 2 years we've had a pretty good, rapport with them and continue to grow that. And, we're moving in the right direction to make things come together and do stuff together.
only the strong survive.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the city manager out there now, he's a cool guy.
Baseball
He's-
guy.
Went to Hayes, so obviously got a good head on his shoulders.
Well,
Very smart individual.
Wow.
Just a lot of good
All says
positive things to
yeah.
say about him. But no, he's been cool. He's been fun to talk to. The new, which I don't even know her title, but she kind of took over because the chamber lady left. So the other chamber lady, which was just a massive roadblock, she's no longer there, and they've delegated all those different things. So that's actually
And then
been
the chamber combined as a community chamber with Maze and all the things.
so now that's all moving around. It's just been a lot of moving parts.
There's so many things that happen in that growing community after they kind of made the recovery that they're still going through. But yeah, it's that community itself has supported us, and we're going to continue to provide that experience that we promised, and that is one that's like no other. And then the players themselves, they're treated like kings. The community treats them that way. There's nothing that I can say would stop a player from feeling loved at the SBS. I mean, it's truly about them and being able to put them first and showcase what they got.
That's good. So fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
From a little kind of tapped on some past times of the SBS, right? Throwing
Sure.
it back. Now, so we had 22 teams last year.
Yes, 22.
And then, as the tournament director, what is your goal this year? And then what have you been as far as communications go with teams? How's that been going so far?
I think our mainline goal is going to always be 32 teams. 32 teams would be phenomenal to have. We start on a Wednesday, and our blind draw is truly an awesome event, not only for us and the teams, but for our community partners. Every team has a fair shake at their opponent. There's no behind the scenes guessing of where you're going to be seated or anything like that. It is you could play at 8 o'clock in the morning. You could play at 7 p.m. at night. You don't know when the Penguins going to throw out the first pitch, depending on where you're playing. I mean, there's lots of fun things that go with that. But 32 is the goal, and 22 is where we landed last year, and we broke a lot of records last year. I mean, attendance, sales, all kinds of stuff. And we've had 24 before. I think that 32 is that sweet spot, because there'll be 16 games played for at least 3 days straight. And that in itself is an experience, not only for players and teams, but the community. And I guess it puts a large load on all of us to make it all come together and happen. I mean, Sheldon shakes his head just thinking about it, but it would be fun to
Bro,
fun
I'm
to
just
have.
a mule out there, man. You guys, I can't imagine adding more to that. I mean, I can, like, obviously that's the goal, but
Just got to start earlier in the day.
good night, dude. I'm thinking about me getting older and like just my body. Although my body feels pretty good right now, so like if I
Gotcha.
if I can just keep this up, I'll be all right. I can do plenty. But yeah, that it'll be cool. I mean, I think that whether they want to admit it or not, the NBC obviously is following us, and they're paying attention to the stuff that we're doing, because we were the ones that had enough teams to bring back baseball around the clock, and they're forcing the issue over there because they didn't want us to do it. And really, kind of when we do things, I think my whole everything is like, we're going to do it right. Like, if I'm going to say we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way. Like, we're going to make sure that it's there. And we haven't necessarily gotten to the number where I think that doing baseball around the clock makes sense yet, because we can still make it work, with what we're doing. One, two, it becomes a super logistical thing, like when you start thinking about how you work all the games, the umpires, you start to piece together all of the moving parts behind the scenes, which is the part of the tournament that nobody really understands. Baseball around the clock, when you got 4 fields running, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah. Yeah, you
And
can't just have one game
yeah,
going.
we're not a one game at a time thing, and one game at a time is a lot more manageable.
Mhm.
You can do that over and over and over again, but having 4 crews working at once,
Knew
it,
some people from my WSU days who had to work the baseball around the clock.
oh yeah,
They're just like, it's one game at a time. They like
uh-huh.
take a picture of it and like, why am I here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They and the problem with that side of things is they're bringing back something to a market that they have, which is dead. They have a market that doesn't really care about it. They don't have a market that really is bought into what it is. They have a loyal market. Like, they have loyal fans. They have the nostalgia of the tournament being around, no different than why I still in my heart like support and want that to still be a thing, and like because of how long and how impactful it's been in my life growing up around here with baseball. But the reality of it is if I didn't have that, like most people don't anymore, they wouldn't support it like most people don't anymore. That's why when you show up, there's 35 people there, or, max 100 people there or whatever, even though they'll say whatever on their social media nonsense, which is a bunch of BS. But the realities of it is they're following us. They're following the things we're putting out there. They see the grassroots. They see the momentum. They see all of the different things. And dude, I say this all the time in the KCLB stuff too. Like, if all these old heads didn't think that it was important, then they wouldn't give a shit. Like, they wouldn't care about what I'm doing. They wouldn't care about why this, why that. Like, but the reason they care is because what we got going on is cool shit. Like, there's cool stuff that's happening. And there's momentum with the players, there's momentum with coaches, there's momentum across the board, there's momentum in the marketing, there's momentum everywhere. So then why do you think they talk trash on it? They don't want, you know what I mean? It's like the reason that we have the haters that we have is because they know what we're doing is outpacing what they are, and they can't do anything about it. And so it just becomes this internal kind of battle or whatever. And I don't care because I don't focus on them. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care what these other leagues do. I don't care what these other teams do. I don't care what this tournament does. I don't care what they're doing. It doesn't bother me because all I care about is what we're about and how we're focusing on our growth and the things that we're trying to pour into, and we pour into our guys, pour into our teams, pour into that side of it. And so that's the exciting parts for me is like watching all of that hard work, kind of cultivate and, see that momentum really start to be able to pick up over this time frame. Cause don't get me wrong, like there's a ton of stress that goes in behind the other sides of it, especially for, 5 years of just getting kind of our asses whooped, maybe not all 5 years. Last year was the first, like the last couple years have been better, but last year was a good year in the sense of like, you know, overall. But, there's some challenges there for sure. And just kind of seeing it all kind of move in a, real positive direction anyway. So,
I think it's really cool to, capture a phone call from a very prominent brand from the West Coast that travels here every year to reach out and say you guys are doing it right. And I applaud you for standing up against the giant and and beating them. But behind that phone call, there was some cool and honest conversations about why and what we do, and it just goes towards what people are seeing because now you're being seen. In the beginning, I don't think anybody ever knew what we were. And as our brand grows nationally, they know we're about the teams, we're about the players. They know that we're about the competition and creating that experience that matters. So it's very cool, fast forwarding it to where we are now and having some conversations. People reach out to me this weekend. We had a team from Indiana. They took a break from the SBS and of course, or Illinois, sorry, and they want to come back, or like the Palm Springs coach, hey man, whenever you're ready to get me on an interview, I'm ready to talk. Let's go, or the guys in Texas who are like, hey man, I'm really trying to put this into our plan. Help me understand these things. So taking that time to really put the processes in place so they can understand how we are the best for their team, for their organization, or their league. Whether they want to bring a single team, whether they want to bring an all-star team, or just anything like that. How can they share our message? That's what's really been awesome to hear is, hey man, I really like what you're doing. How can I share your message? And what can we do to make this thing big because you're doing it right. And so, we live our life by the servant leader side of things and being able to provide everyone the opportunity and then the tools to be successful. This is just the culmination of the summer for us that all of our teams play in it, and then all of their experiences are there, and then all of a sudden it's just everywhere. I mean, our when I was posting on Twitter, it just kind of blew up after the SBS.
You're spreading your seed a little bit
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
all over
it's
the country.
all over the country, and I'm excited for our first SBS trip to ABCA. Like
Oh,
we've discussed
exciting.
this for a
it's
while,
exciting.
and being able to make that happen and be out in the community and doing the relationship creating, it's finally paying off, and it's super cool to walk into a room and have people like, oh, that's the baseball guy, that's just Dave.
So
you know
hopefully, where's the ABCA again?
Columbus.
Oh, back home.
Back home,
Oh, really?
about 30 minutes away from where I was born.
All right. All right. So you're going to go in there, kidnap some coaches, bring them back. Say,
No.
guess what? You're going to play next
Actually,
year."
actually, my plan is to go hang out with Roy for a little while with Zephyr hats. They have a big booth, and then stop by our partners in HRD and give them some love for all the things that they do for the league and the SBS with the Chick-fil-A bats and stuff like that. And then obviously, make some connections with some coaches that can help out not only the KCLB, the league teams, but maybe they're coaching somewhere for the summer and they want a shot at a natty with with the $20,000 purse that pays out the top four teams.
Bang.
Yeah, exclamation point.
Yeah. Let's.
I will say though, like the prize money, that is one thing that I've learned out of this whole thing that really has stuck out to me is like, which it aligns to, I think so. It's kind of looking us in the face, but I didn't really notice it, I guess. But like the prize money, it don't matter. It really doesn't matter.
When those final couple teams get on the field together, it's just about winning that game.
I know, and that's
Yeah.
the beauty of our
Yeah.
tournament, and that's
It's
honestly,
like I made it this far.
that is
Let's
the
finish the
difference.
job.
Like that is the difference between us and the other tournaments and the other things that are out there is they have the money that drives why those teams are doing what they're doing. Because I mean, dude, we don't freaking bring in nearly the same amount of dollars that those things do, right? Like, I mean, their prize pool is like somewhere around $60,000 that goes out. Like
It was 79.
yeah, $80,000 that goes out. One, I have no idea how. Like, obviously, it's old money, it's old sponsorships, it's people that they've been around 100 years. So, like, that makes sense, in that aspect of it from the business side, like that translates. But the reality of it is, if that money wasn't the money, none of those teams would go. None of them. Like
Right.
That's true.
they have absolutely no drive to go there other than the fact that the prize pool is so big, right? And that is the difference. That is the thing. And again, like I didn't know this in the first couple of years, but that's what I've learned over the last 4 or 5 is it's such a like it's more of the mental piece of it, right? Like our teams want to come and win this thing because they take pride in winning it, right? And that's the grassroots piece that they used to have that they don't have anymore, or at least it's not as prevalent. Like those teams are going there because they want to win the money. It's old dudes that run these teams and those dudes want to win that money and like there's some nostalgia inside of that. But I would challenge anybody this. Like we know this. I mean, go walk around town and ask people about that. They'll tell you straight up. Oh yeah, I know what that is.
I used to go to that. I used to go to that with my dad.
Oh yeah. Well, it was probably 15, 20 years ago. Exactly. Like you don't care about it. You just know about it from a branding perspective, right? And ask a player. Like I mean, name one kid on your team that knew about any of these tournaments. Probably didn't even know really about ours until we told them. But do they know anything about these tournaments? No, hell no. They have no idea. They don't care because it's not what it once was, right? It used to be the only option. And so that whole piece of that, like when you start looking into the prize money portion of things and starting to kind of piece some of that stuff together, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like once you get into those final bits and like, there is a sense of like you're playing for a little bit more, whatever, but like these teams want to win because they want to win with their team. They want to compete because they're together as a group. They want to do all of the things that the sport itself should actually be about. And that is what's special. Like that is the piece that I feel like we've done a really good job at building. And we've done a really good job of keeping that in the focus of being the thing is the player experience, the player give back, the player type of mentality. And don't get me wrong, like shit, like I wish we had options to do more and all of those things. And over time, hopefully that stuff comes to fruition. But we're also not trying to operate in a net negative every year because then I couldn't survive.
We wouldn't make it. Yeah.
It wouldn't be an option. Like I literally couldn't. Like it just wouldn't happen. And so now, like being able to kind of hopefully kind of turn some of those pages and start to move ahead a little bit in some areas, it allows us to enrich that player experience a little bit more and, just find ways to give back to that player experience, which we've already seeing why people are latching on to that. And I think that's the special sauce, if you will. Like that's the part. I mean, I literally most of the teams that I end up talking to out there and stuff like that, there isn't a single time where they're like, "Oh man, we're here to win that money." Like it just never comes up. Like it's not even on the forefront of their minds. Like they're there and they're having the best time of their lives. They're enjoying being around their buddies. They're enjoying the atmosphere after their games, right?
And being able to meet others.
Yeah, they're just
I mean,
hanging out. Like
Well, how many times, do guys meet people they know from the other teams?
So-
Just like,
So
what's up,
a
man?
story for I think it was either year 1 or 2. One of the teams was traveling in. Well, actually, two teams. We had a team from Texas and a team from the Palm Springs team. The two dudes grew up together, and then military split them apart. And then all of a sudden, they're playing in the same tournament, and they're literally planning every time that they're going to eat so they can talk to each other and hang out. Like connecting that just gives me goosebumps. Like I have them right now. I don't have any hair on my head, so you can't see it or whatnot. But like being able to provide that is awesome. But back to the money aspect, I had a real candid conversation with one of the teams, and he was like, I honestly spend about $35,000 coming out there every year. And I said, so even if you made it to the championship, you may get 18 back.
Yeah.
And I said, does that cover 50%? Well, 35 is like the minimum I spend. And I said, so you can come for 5 days, and I've had teams spend no more than $7,500, maybe $8,000 to play in our tournament if you include the entry and them going and grabbing some extra food. But our payout pays almost 75% of that cost. And then you get a bunch of other cool stuff like a set of uniforms with a patch on it, some rings, some championship hats, the cool stuff that teams maybe need, because some of these teams are nonprofits and not every year can they afford to get a new set of uniforms. I set up awesome hat deals through Zephyr. I mean, how many times can you go swing a Chick-fil-A bat and win a Chick-fil-A for a year that's good nationwide? And then when you keep them in the wrapper, you find out that there's somebody willing to pay $800 for it.
Really?
The first bat, yeah. I had somebody offer me $800 for the very first Chick-fil-A bat.
Did you take it?
No, it's in our they're all in our table. Those are mementos, man. Those are what keep us driving for the top. I mean, being able to say every player has a spot in our home run derby, unless you're playing by random draw, every player has an opportunity. And then Chick-fil-A puts it on by themselves, or they hand out sandwiches. They let kids come in there and hit. And then, we crown the champion with the bat and make it sweet.
I mean, to be fair, like those guys that are spending that kind of money to do other stuff, they're just spending irrationally as well too. I mean, there's a smart way of going about doing that, and there's definitely local teams that could be around that don't spend that kind of money. So like you got to put some of that into perspective, sure, but still the underlying principle is that the affordability of what we're talking about is just light years ahead. Like it's just light years ahead for these teams to be able to actually have a real option every single year at the end of the summer, which truly is, I think, what the deeper meaning is here is it's an open tournament. Like it's open, right? So like we're not going to play politics, which is what I got fed up with over there. We're not going to play the nonsense. Like, dude, if you want to win this thing, put your entry in and come win it. Like, and it's that's it. Like it's as black and white as it gets. Everybody plays by the same set of rules. Everybody gets the same roster stuff. Everybody gets all of the same options. So you go and do the work, and if your team is the best, it's going to show up.
Right.
That's it. The only thing that we can't control at the SBS is the umpires. Like that is the only thing, and that's a third-party service that we have nothing to do with. And I'm sorry, what they do is what they're going to do. Like it doesn't matter who is what. And it just is what it is. Like, and honestly, in any baseball game, I don't think that you can really control that aspect of the game. Like those guys are out there as a paid service. They're doing the best that they can. And those guys are operated and governed essentially by their own thing. So it's as fair as you can possibly get it, which was where we wanted the foundation of this tournament to start, is let's make this thing an option for anyone.
Right.
Consistent. Anybody can do it. Anyone. Like, I do not care who you are. If you think you got the sack to come and win this tournament, then put it together and come and win it.
Come win it.
I tried.
I mean,
like that's it. Like, and ultimately at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. Like that's where my blood is. Like I I want people to compete. Like, I want to play the best. I want to compete with the best. And don't get me wrong, there's some teams out there that I know that are across the country that easily could come in and probably dominate pieces of our tournament. At some point in time, I hope that we attract those teams, and I hope those teams want to come and do it to prove that that's what they are, right? Like, we are not, and we're not going to lie and try to act like we are. We bring in good, talented teams. We have a lot of guys that come in from all different parts of the country and international, that are really, really good baseball players. But do we know that these teams that are coming in and winning this could go and beat some of the elites of the elites? I don't know. Like, baseball is a funny game. Like, anybody can win at points and times. But the reality is they have the same opportunity to show up and do it too. If they don't wanna do it because they're afraid of doing it, that's their thing. I don't know if they're afraid or they just think it's beneath them. I don't give a shit what excuse they come up with. The reality is the option's on the table, come win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come do it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the mentality with the KCLB. The KCLB is like, "Listen, we prepare all summer to go and play in this tournament. That's it. Like, that is the Super Bowl for us, right? The World Series. Like, that's it for us. So we're gonna do everything we can do throughout the summer to be able to go and compete and show the highest level of team that we can come up with. And sometimes we wish it was higher, and sometimes we wish we had pieces that go, whatever. But the reality of that is, we're showing up for that thing. And it just so happens that it's like, oh, wow, these teams are pretty good. Like, it's like, oh man, these guys are winning games. Like, this is happening. This is happening. And every single one of our teams is better at the SBS, like almost every single one, a high percentage of them, maybe not everyone, but a high percentage of them, it elevates the players, it elevates their experience, it elevates everything about them as a unit. And that is our job as collegiate summer baseball people, is to make these guys better and send them back to college better. Like, and we do not lose sight of that. That's the realities of where that all kind of breaks down in the bigger picture stuff. And I don't know, man, it's cool. Like, it's the people that really come out and like put their ear to the pavement and like actually see all the different things that are going on. Like, it's
They
it's
know.
it's cool, man. Like, it's
Yeah.
fun to watch those games, how competitive they get, that type of stuff, because it's
And if you get bored,
good
you can
baseball.
walk 15 feet
Yeah.
to a different game, completely different vibe. I mean, where it's not a traditional experience of one game at a time. There's 4 games going on. There's music playing if there's not a game going on the field, so you're going to hear that. I mean, it's just it's pure. It's purely built for an experience that is not found on a traditional baseball field. I mean, these teams come in, they compete, they come together, and you know what? They'll never play together again. Like, maybe a couple players, but the past few years these guys have played, they've elevated their game, they've gone on to bigger, better things, and then if they can put it together for a natty, that experience stays with them for their entire life. Like, that's a group of guys that came together in a matter of weeks to play summer collegiate baseball in a league on a team, and then came in to show out for a national tournament and give them that experience that they need to lead into the fall, that ultimately leads them into maybe different opportunities during the winter, and the spring. It lights the fire because then they get to come back and do it all again.
Yeah, I mean, you think like we talked about this on the KCLB pod. It's like, say you just redshirted your first year as a freshman, or maybe you're a redshirt, or like you're sophomore, junior, just trying to crack into the lineup, hopefully, and you go play some summer ball at, in Valley Center or El Dorado or Wellington or any of these other places that come to the SBS, right? Totally different spot. You're playing, so when you go to your college, you're playing in a conference that has 10 to 15 teams, maybe 8 to 15 teams. Usually half those go to the conference championship, and then two of them might go, if you have a different conference champion, different outright champion in the regular season, 2 of them will go to the national championship, right? So your odds of experiencing something like that.
Right.
There's no all-star game in the or home run derby in any of these college leagues, right? So then,
Well, the KCLB has it.
yeah, right. Oh, don't worry, I'm getting there. In any of these college leagues, as in like regular season college ball.
Yeah, if you go to, Fort Hayes or, like you're talking like any
Yeah,
division.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
NAIAs.
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
like even D1. They don't have a mid-season all-star.
They just have the things that they put on internally maybe, but
Yeah,
not like
right.
a
Player of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So then you get to go to like if you go to the KCLB, you get the All-Star game experience midway through the year, something that you'd be like, well, it's played on a city field and what like that can't be. But the whole production of it all and getting to wear a different jersey and earning that spot because for the first month of the season you played your butt off and you get in there and you get to experience playing with other guys from the different teams you're competing against and
Building that relationship.
exactly. And then at the end of the year, you get a league tournament, and then if you go to the SBS, if like you're one of these other leagues, then you get a chance for the national tournament. So you're getting all this stuff that chances are not a lot of these guys, and maybe obviously some of them do. They get to compete for a conference championship and everything, but like getting to play like these high leverage games that maybe they'll go and they'll be a JV guy at their team. Or maybe they were a JV guy and they're trying to crack into it. And now they get these high leverage at bats in a national tournament, a league tournament. And they get to experience all these things that they may never experience in college. Right. I mean, I didn't get to experience any of that in college. I know like my team went to like a few, conference, like they qualified for the conference tournament once or twice, I think. But I mean, I wasn't good enough to be on there. So like, but you get like an opportunity to do these things, and a lot of times with baseball, when you have a change of environment and you're feeling a little more free from the kind of the pressure of your own team, you get to flourish a little bit,
Mhm.
and that's the total like the thing people. I think a lot of kids and coaches don't want to admit it to their kids, but that's the kind of thing that can really help you as a ball player and find another gear that you didn't know you were capable of because you're just stuck in this same role at your college and you're grinding. Nothing's working. You go play summer ball. You're away from all these dudes. You get to be in a whole different place, whole new environment. Like you see it all the time in the major leagues or whatever. Guys go to a totally different team and all of a sudden they're flourishing again.
Right.
You know, and it's the same thing with this. You see a lot of guys who don't get an opportunity at their college go here, and I'm not saying they end up transferring anything. They would just go back a better player
Mhm.
because they're more confident now. They got at bats, they got an opportunity, and they seized it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that happens more than we probably know,
Probably.
but I also think that I know about it a lot because it pisses me off when those kids don't wanna come back.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean?
So, that's
They take it to a level, and they're like, well, we're looking at this, and this,
now, yeah,
or I'm good by myself.
correct, and that's again, like, I have to swallow my own pride in that at points in times, like, I have to check myself in that, and just understanding who we are in summer in general, right? SBS or KCLB, it doesn't matter, like, we are a stepping stone, right? And we have to embody that as our like piece. Like that is what we are here for. That is part of our purpose. That is part of how all of these things are. And don't get me wrong, like it's a confliction for us as we're trying to grow because we want it to be premier, we want it to be this, we want it to be all those things, but the harsh realities are that's not the space anymore, and that's what's wrong with a lot of the other things out there is they think they can be something that doesn't exist anymore. And that's the challenge, right? Like that's where it's like, okay, like who do you service? What are the people going to do there? Why? Like you start to answer some of these questions and that is the backbone, right? The goal is these players being able to then go back and do different things. And for me, it's just like common sense. It's like, hey, dude, like if you got something that's working really well, don't change it. You know what I mean? Like, don't, you should be back here next year so you can keep developing. Sadly, that's just not how their brains work a lot of times, right? They think, oh, well, now that I did really good here, then I should change something, right? And there's some argument on that side of it as well too, right? And that's where the stepping stone mentality. If you have a better opportunity, which don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly believe that there's quote unquote better opportunities, right? There's bigger stages than what we are. And that's okay, right? Like we are not Major League Baseball. We are not a semi-professional opportunity. Like there's all kinds of other things that quote unquote you would call bigger or better. But the reality of it is, we want to try and keep good people and we want to try and help as many people as we can. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of players end up going back much better into the same topic where we're talking about the competitiveness or like the level of what it is that we're trying to provide. I always just have the mentality of like, dude, like if you can come to this league or this tournament or this stuff that we're doing and you're the best, right? You're the best hitter. You're the best defensive player. You're the best pitcher. Like if you are the best, as good as you claim that you are, then you should dominate everybody here. Like it shouldn't even be close. Like you should just dominate. And when you dominate, not only are you going to win this, but then that's going to breed all of these other opportunities. And nobody seems to be able to like grasp that. Like nobody seems to be able to, because they're all living a lie and they're not being honest with themselves. But the reality of that is if you show up here and let's just say like you're the guy that comes in, you throw, your lights out in every game that you pitch in the SBS, like you're that guy. I promise you, there's opportunities that are calling. Like we've watched it happen multiple times in the tournament. Like if you're that guy, then it's gonna find you here. Like there's so many eyes and there's so many things that are happening. But that's one of our challenges in the growth is it's just like people are afraid of that. Like people are afraid of just coming and strapping it on and saying, hey, like let's go compete. Like let's just go see what happens. So, and that boils into a lot of the transfer portal nonsense and like the
Fear of failure.
fear of failure, the
Feel that.
branding representation.
Yeah.
Like, if I show up here and I'm a D1 kid and I don't do good, well,
Ooh.
then am I not a D1 kid? Yeah, that's the reality of it. But that's what they're afraid of, right? And I won't say his name, but you guys know exactly who I'm talking about when I tell this piece of this. But if he was to come here and play and he comes and pitches for us and he gets shelled by said teams, is that kid going to be the guy that's going to be this big D1 arm? Oh, and wait, let's add in an injury now. Now what? Right? Like that's the harsh realities of the game is, dude, if you're the best, then go showcase it. If you're the best and you're going to be the guy, then go be the guy. Right? Like, but if you're not, like, you got to also, like, it's the risk versus reward. Like, you got to understand that to be an MLB professional baseball player, which is all these guys' dreams, they should be dominating our shit. Like, straight up. But the reality is there's not a ton of that domination going on because there's a ton of competitiveness. Like everybody, all these teams, all these players, they're super competitive. So it's just this big, it's this melting pot of different things at the SBS where you see all this stuff kind of come together and it's like, wow, like this is a pretty competitive deal. Like these dudes are really, really battling out there. And, it's just about that growth and trying to showcase all of their skill sets and all of those different things. But
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
speaking of the competition, I get excited when coaches are like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm going to have my big core coming back and things like that." That's a cool thing to hear because those kids want to be here.
yeah,
When they say, "Hey man, I'm going to play here, but when you go to the SBS, I want to be on your roster." You know, that's big because they know what it takes. I mean, to win the SBS and the competition that we have and the way our games are played, I mean, it's a grind. You have to be a dog, and if you're not a dog, then you know what? Move along. It's just there, and
Mark.
and
the competition, what was his Angel? He was the MVP of the Division One, whatever
Pine Bluff.
conference, whatever, whatever it was. He played for the Rangers last year. Unless you know that kid, nope, which we do, but like nobody in the stands really probably noticed who's out there on the baseball field. I don't know what his tournament stats were, but he probably wasn't going to be the MVP,
no.
right? And granted, he may have just been an off weekend. It could have been an off game, whatever. And or was it the competition, right? Like, and or was it the fact that it's a wood bat tournament and that, there's some leveler playing fields that are out there. And dude, he's one of the rising stars of Division One baseball. Like he's an absolute beast at the plate. He's probably going to have a great season this year, probably have the opportunity to get drafted this year. Like there's going to be a lot of good things for that kid. And he's badass. But at this tournament, he was just playing. You know what I mean? He was just one of the guys that are out there
He
playing.
said he wanted to be in it.
Right. So it's just when you hear of that, which, that's not necessarily stuff that we're like blasting out all over the place because that's just not really our place to do so. But it's just there is a lot of good baseball that's being played and a lot of really, really good baseball players that are out there that the common person just wouldn't understand or know or whatever. And, like there's some leveling of the playing field out there. And that's what I love about it. Is just, man, it's dogfight every game is what it feels like.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that even starts in the blind draw rounds for sure.
Oh, without doubt.
So, everybody trying to get that number one seed as everyone's placed into the single elimination bracket. Everyone has a chance at the prize pool. It's just more of how you perform in those things, and then you get seeded right and you make that run. So, but yeah, the SBS is growing, man, and it's cool to see people reaching out and thinking about us and how things are moving in the positive direction that we've worked really hard behind the scenes to do. So it's I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's what I'm passionate about, giving back to the game and the players and helping them grow as humans, just as I would anyone else in this world. So
I like it.
and
Oh, nice.
well, a little drum roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to pee.
Oh, wow.
Fair enough. We're
Well,
almost done.
yeah, I mean, we can close this out. I mean, it was great to chat about it. I feel like this is a good moment for us to be able to push that out during winter meetings as people are meeting to discuss schedules, how many teams they have in their league, and all of that good stuff to put out there and maybe gain some traction. Give us a shot. You won't go anywhere else after you've given us a shot. I mean, it's
Who are some teams that you're, like for people listening or people to share, think about like who are some teams that, you think it'd be kind of cool to have in or that haven't been or, just along the growth type mentality? Like what are some of those teams that you might be talking to
I
or interested in?
really think it would be cool to get the Dairyland down here. I've talked to
Dopey.
them for a long time, and I started with their first commissioner, the kid that started everything because he just wanted to give back to the game, and then now after being bought out, it's just really building that relationship. It would be cool for the Dairyland to come out. Some of those Houston five tool teams that go out and beat up people every game and claim to have all those talents, or more teams from the Dallas area, teams from Colorado. I know there's like two premier leagues out there. We've had them in the past, and with all their ownership changes and things like that, it would be fun to have them back. And then obviously, I'm always talking to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Those guys are excited and jacked to come back. They just love the experience and the food. They do care about winning and putting that together. But what's crazy is we see players from the College of the Desert playing in the Midwest for the KCLB, and then they see their college coach and they're like, "Oh shit, I better play better." Like just do those kind of things. Teams from Missouri, I've been chatting it up with Mink League teams. I know our schedules line up. It's just, do they want to put it all on the line? I mean, I'm not one to call them out like that, but at the end of the day, like, you guys are the best in your league. Come play, and then obviously the teams in Illinois, the leagues in Kentucky. There's one big league in Kentucky that would be so cool to have somebody like the Paducah Chiefs or there's just the Rhythm out there. And then the Smoky Mountain League that the owner of the league has all four teams. They could do that. Arkansas, we've had plans to do that for 2 straight years, and out of nowhere they just go away. It would be fun to even have a team from Alaska.
Yeah.
But
well, there's no shortage of them, that's for sure. I mean,
no, there's
collegiate summer balls, which is a blessing and a curse, I think, at the same time. That's a whole different podcast. But I think, like we've always kind of talked about like our numbers in the sense of how many teams, and obviously that 32 has always kind of been a topic of discussion. But, it'd be really cool. And it's something that I think we should always mention too when we're talking SBS, which we know, but we don't say it out loud enough. But like the whole idea behind SBS is to blend all levels of baseball together, like adult baseball, right? So your fresh 18-year-old kids that are going into college, like we want them to get a chance to experience this level of ball. You got your bulk, which is your collegiate summer ball, and then you have your post college like grad ball, which is like adult baseball and like those teams that are playing and still giving back to the game. Like that is what the SBS consists of, right? Like so we have all three levels of adult non-professional baseball, and that's like the idea, the big picture of giving back to the game is about, hey, let's give an opportunity for the guys that are getting ready to go to college ball. They get a chance to compete and see what the next level is like, right? You have all your collegiate summer ball guys that are in the mix of everything, and then you have your graduating guys that are still good enough to keep playing, but they aren't, professional baseball players, but they're still playing and they're still wanting to give back, right? Like, so let's bring all them dudes under one umbrella and just put them together and say, go win, like just go make it happen. So, in simple math, you could look at, 16 college teams, 16 prep, or excuse me, 8 prep teams, and then 8 adult teams. That gets you to your 32. Maybe it's 20 college teams, 4, and then 8, or, vice versa, whatever, like mix and matching what those numbers kind of look like. But I definitely think that having that balance and just having more of the mixture is what really separates, what we're offering out there in the space. It's really that's where the one of a kind comes from, because there's not stuff out there that does it. Everything else is just separated. Like everything else is separated by division or by age or whatever. Where we're saying, hey, like we're all adults, let's all compete. Let's see what's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. There's some really good, college prep teams, which is what we call them, right? Your travel going into college baseball teams. But I think what we have found is the really good teams that we've had in the tournament that show up, they don't have the experience most of the times to win. Like they get beat by some of these adult teams that they shouldn't be getting beat by, right? They're not as agile, like they're not as good of athletes, like that type of stuff. But baseball is more than that. And that I think is the lessons that are being taught, and that's where we're enriching the value of the game. Like that's where we are giving back to what baseball really is, and that's why I think the momentum is growing and there's cool things happening. Is it spawns from that type of mentality, and so yeah, so we would love to have more of those because I think that'd be cool. Having that balance, I think, would be a really cool thing, in different parts of the places, but then also being true to being local to our community, right? Like being true to here, because without the teams that are around here, you won't survive. Like it's a ticking time bomb. Like it's just not going to happen. Like people are not, they don't travel like that. Like they're not going to go because the team from Alaska is coming here to play. The bus from Alaska isn't leaving with 500 people to come watch them play here in Goddard. Like it's just not a thing. Like it's not economical. They can't afford to do it. They can just watch it on a live stream for free. Why would they? Like, yeah, they may come for a day, they may come for a weekend, they may come for whatever. But even then, like, it's just not economical for people to be able to do that in today's world. Very small percentage of people can. So, when you're talking about like trying to have a community style thing, like, dude, having, 20 some teams from all across the world that come in and play. Yeah, on paper, it sounds awesome. Like it sounds great, but who's watching? Who's in the stands? Who's there? Or is your live stream going to be the only thing that you're relying upon? Like it's so the local aspect of it is really what enriches the experience for us and getting people excited, which is, that's where we tip the cap to the community of, Goddard, but also the Wichita and surrounding areas, like coming out and really showing out for the guys because, that's what makes it fun. Like that's what makes it memorable. And, so I'm excited. It's definitely, it's going to keep moving in a good direction. And hopefully people hearing this are getting excited and they want it to, if they haven't been there, they want to come check it out or get a business involved, right? Like, that's, if you do stuff around here, this is a place that you want to be at because it's cool and you get to help a lot of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Sean, you want to lead us in our prayer?
Yes.
Ah.
Perfect.
Lord, Lord, thank you for another day, and thank you for giving us another opportunity to talk and converse. Lord, I pray that anybody who kind of comes in and listens to this feels and hears the passion that these two have to put this thing on for not only community but anybody who comes in to the tournament. I pray that passion, obviously, all words aside, that's where the motivation comes from, and that it is to serve these baseball players and these fans for a great experience. And that's where the motivation lies, and that's where it comes from. And I pray that, some of the stories that Dave shed some light on with the experiences that teams had, are an example to other teams who are looking for something, might be missing that at the end of the summer, might be missing that motivation and that experience at the end of the summer, that they can come in and really feel the family atmosphere, the community atmosphere that gets provided for all these ball players and these fans that come into this event, Lord. So anyway, Lord, I just pray that we continue to work hard, continue to honor and glorify you in all the work. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, that's it for episode 21, SummerBall Showdown, Kansas Sports HQ. We'll see you guys next time, and have a great day.